Hey everybody, how's it going? Greg Freeman from Freeman CPA. Today another great segment brought to you by Atlanta Business Accountants. Just to basically pick up where we left off. So if we know that prepaying our mortgage is going to save us a lot of money down the road in interest and a lot of time paying for the debt that we've incurred for financing the home, we also know that it'll actually end up being a better decision, right? Because even though the interest rate's pretty small, now, what ends up happening is, yes, we'll be able to save the amount of time we're paying. Yes, we're going to minimize the interest that we're spending, and we won't pay twice for the home in a way. So the next question then, when should I prepay this, and what should I do? Should I, for example, prepay my mortgage? What if I'm on a budget, right? So I only have so much resources available to me every single month, and so I cannot overextend that, right? So if I have, let's say, a disposable income of $1,000 a month, and with that $1,000, I can either prepay my mortgage, or I could go into and contribute to my 401k, maybe set up an emergency fund, either pay off my car loan faster, or I can prepay those credit cards. So you start to ask yourself, well, you know, the interest is very low. It's considered good debt, right? Home loans are considered good debt, as opposed to bad debt. Credit cards are examples of bad debt because the interest rate's so high, it's predatory, and you really pay a lot. So if you ever heard of somebody saying, I can't get out of the credit card debt, well, that's because the fees keep incurring so fast at such a high rate that if you're paying a minimum amount, you're never gonna get out of it. You're gonna pay so much more money for that $30 charge. You'll probably pay, 200-300% by the time everything's said and done if you're paying minimum on a high balance card. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to end up in a situation where we have to declare bankruptcy. So you got to weigh your options. A lot of the time I notice that people kind of set it and forget it, and they put their mortgage on the back burner and they start contributing towards a 401k at work, or maybe they just don't pay their credit cards off. And it becomes, you're kind of juggling a lot of these different things and you want to make your money work for you. Yes, of course, when you have a 401k at work, your employer is matching. It's considered free money because the employer is actually contributing for every dollar. You're contributing a certain amount of your salary, right, at 3 or 5%. So it makes sense to do that, but there's risk involved, right? A 401k plan could literally lose all its value because it might be investing in something that's riskier than your home. So that's something to consider, as well as, basically, how will I be taxed in the future? If I'm saving money in taxes today, you might think I'm saving money in taxes today, but most likely we'll be in a higher tax bracket in the future. So actually contributing to a 401k might actually cost you more money down the road, depending on when you're using this money and what are the future tax rates and what is your income going to look like and all of these different variables. So maybe comparing prepaying to a mortgage versus a 401k is one of the biggest things that you really want to weigh. And I think that getting out of debt as quickly as possible is one of the best decisions before building your assets. But there is definitely a caveat there. I would also focus on building an emergency fund in case something happens. You want to have about 3 to 6 months worth of money saved in some sort of good interest-bearing account, like a high-yield savings account to keep up with inflation, before you actually go ahead and tackle something like prepaying your mortgage, contributing to a 401k, et cetera, et cetera. These are some of those basic rudimentary fundamentals of what good financial planning does. And since we all want to make sure that we're doing the best financial planning for ourselves, we don't want to pay for that house twofold, right? So sit and kind of weigh all your debt out, and you want to get rid of the highest interest first. Once that's done, then you can focus on things like, should I set up an emergency fund and how much? Should I contribute to a 401k and how much? And then what is the rate of return there versus saving on something as huge as a mortgage? Because again, we're looking at 30 years here, folks, for the most conventional loans. You literally will pay twice for the same house. And the house typically only lasts like 20 years before you really have to start improving it. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to do that. All right, guys, I left you with some great food for thought, and that was the basic logical next step. So this is why this video is so timely, is because first I just wanted to obviously bring forward how how much money you can save. It's amazing by just prepaying even $100 every month. How much time you'll save on that loan. Imagine hitting it with full force at $1,000 a month if you have that capability. And if you don't, maybe you want to rearrange things, cut some expenses, save on your interest first, and then go ahead and full force it. Anyway, that's pretty much it for today, guys. Remember, like and subscribe. We need followers. We love to hear your feedback. Leave us notes, comments. We want to know what you think. What have you done? Have you prepaid your mortgage? And if so, how did that work out for you? Did you decide to cut somewhere else? Because remember, we're all dealing with limited resources. All right, guys, this is Freeman CPA, brought to you by Atlanta Business Accountants. Remember, your success is always our success all day, every day. Thank you, and have a great one. Bye.